Well, hey guys, Bart from Bicycle Rider YouTube, and I've got something really exciting. I mean, really exciting. This is even a first for me. This is the first time I've reviewed a Trek bicycle. As you know, Trek is one of the biggest bicycle companies in the world, but at Biloxi Bicycle Works, and that's my bicycle shop, we are a specialized dealer, so that's Trek's #1 competitor, at least here in the United States. A lot of times Specialized and Trek don't mix well in a small shop, but there's gonna be more about the Specialized Trek thing with Biloxi Bicycle Works. This video here is about the Trek Checkpoint, and of course I can't help it. You guys know I've been riding and racing my Specialized Diverge for the last couple years, bragging about it and doing a lot of YouTube videos on just how much I like that bike. And of course, many of you have asked, hey, can you compare that to the Trek Checkpoint? And I just have a hard time, or I had a hard time, getting my hands on Trek. But now that I am a Trek dealer, you'll start to see a lot of videos on Trek. And as you guys know me, I don't just pull up specs and start talking about what components are on this bike. There's a lot of good YouTube reviewers that do that. I talk about how I like that bike, how it rides, how it makes me feel, how it performs in certain situations, and just how well-rounded that bike is. So, full disclosure, I have not had my hands on this Trek Checkpoint for a long time, and one, it's a little bit big for me. I'm 5'9", and I normally ride a 54. This is a 56, but it was the first Checkpoint I had to actually go out and take a ride on. So I've been riding it mainly urban. I haven't put this bike in a hardcore gravel situation, but believe me, I do a lot of gravel riding, and a lot of the guys I ride with are on the Checkpoint. This is the ALR 5, so this is their aluminum model of their Checkpoint. It's a 300 series alpha aluminum, and I know this because I've been going to Trek University. One nice thing about Trek, they really want you to know their products before they put them in your hands to go sell to the consumer. So even though I have a lifetime of experience riding bikes, I'm an experienced gravel racer, I own a bicycle shop. I've been doing YouTube reviews for about 7 years. I am going to Trek University to learn all about what alpha aluminum is. And of course, not just alpha aluminum, but I'm going to learn the whole Trek, Trek product line. And then I'll take what I learn and go ride it. So this bike so far in an urban situation, and you guys know I ride a lot of bikes urban. You know, I've got my Marin Gestalt X11 or X10 that I've been riding for multiple years. And now that I have a Specialized Diverge, I ride that urban quite a bit. Actually, we'll be doing a ride from Biloxi Bicycle Works 6:30 a.m. Wednesday morning. If anybody's in the Biloxi area, come on by. We're going to do a very manageable 15-mile-an-hour average pace and ride for about an hour and a half, leaving out of the bike shop at 6:30. So at 6:30 in the morning, we're not kicking the teeth out of each other. We'll do that on Thursday nights. But it's a good introduction to the day and gets a lot of people's days started off right. And I do that on my gravel bike rather than my road bike. So let me start talking about the Trek Checkpoint. As I built this bike, as I took it out of the box, and that is also refreshing because Trek uses a lot, well, not much, but they use enough cardboard packing and natural packing that I don't have a bunch of plastic and styrofoam and piles of this stuff that is not good for the environment. Trek is a very green company, so it's been impressive the way they pack their bikes and just the minimal amount of recyclable good that comes out of that. Nice job, Trek. Good for the environment. It's good for bicycle shops. It's good for my dumpster bill. Some bikes just pack so much foam and stuff, and it ends up going into the dumpster because you can't recycle it. And the dumpsters cost me a lot every month to empty. So thank you, Trek. But back to their bike. It's a very high quality feeling bike. When I build this bike and just touch the paint job. I mean, they've got a superior paint job on this bike. Looking at all these welds. You know, I'm paying attention to things because it's my first time building Trek and dealing with Trek. And so far, I really like what I see. Their 300 series Alpha aluminum is a hydroformed aluminum, and they've got some fantastic weld technology on it. So this bike is coming in a little over 21 pounds. My carbon fiber Diverge with Revolve wheels on it that I race is around 2,100 pounds, and it costs a lot more than Trek's offering here at, you know, $2,500 basically for an ALR 5. This is where the checkpoint starts. Of course, you know, they got the Trek Point SL, which is the carbon version, and then you've got the SLR, which is the carbon race version. God, those bikes are great. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get my hands on some of those. And you guys know I'm going to do the Mississippi Gravel Cup this year. But I have to ride bikes that I can afford. I do own a bicycle shop, but that also means I own a bicycle shop. I don't make the kind of money I used to when I was an accountant. And I bought a lot of my higher end bikes before I owned a bicycle shop. So I ride basically the bikes that my customers can afford as well. Now, maybe if Trek starts looking at my videos, they can send me a you know, carbon fiber version or something. I'd really like that. But this aluminum frame bike has really impressed me. The bearings are very quality on it. I'm new to Bontrager wheels, but the more I learn about the Paradigm wheel, it's light, it's sturdy, it has a good cross pattern, nice spokes, good hubs. People do not complain about this stock wheel set. And you know, on a lot of bikes, you know, that's the first thing you do is you replace a wheel set, but it's also one of the most expensive upgrades you can make. This bike, they've put a good wheel set on it for the masses. I'm really impressed with the overall weight of this bike, so I haven't taken these rims off and weighed them myself, but it's a 6-bolt rotor, and they feel really good. They're a very zippy wheel set for a stock wheel set. And I say zippy on a bike that's a little bit too big for me, so I can't wait till I get a 54 and I can really put it through its paces. So far I've touched on the paint, the frame, the way they've internally routed all these cables, and as a bike builder, it's nice because they're sleeved. This is not a noisy bike, and I've built a lot of aluminum bikes with internal cable routing that weren't sleeved, and they are noisy. You end up having to go back in with noise suppressors and whatnot. It's time consuming, it's expensive for the customer. This bike is quiet, and I have taken it on some really, really rough roads. I'm in Biloxi, Mississippi. They're doing a big infrastructure project, so we basically have gravel roads right in town. They're all gonna get smoothed out eventually. But for now, I've got a pretty good place to, you know, hit some potholes, hit some rough roads, and really test this bike out. And I have been. I like the way it feels. It's got a nice drop bar, and I'm also new to Bontrager. Of course, I am a bicycle technician, so I've worked on a lot of Treks over the years. But I don't buy Trek products to sell. Now I do. This Bontrager tape is excellent. It feels good. It's, you know, Trek wrapped this bar, but I look at the way that they wrap this bar and you can tell someone knew what they were doing. This is just like if I'm going to wrap a bar, and I've been wrapping bars for 20 plus years, and I take a lot of pride in the way I do it, and this bar is wrapped really nice. Component wise, like I said, I'm not going to go into the full list of components, but it's basically a mix of GRX 600 and GRX 800, or 610, 810. Very good. I mean, you can't go wrong with Shimano GRX, and I do like it on a base model gravel bike like this because someone like this is going to use this bike for more than one purpose. And when you've got a 2x system up front, I believe it's a 4334. I can't read the small writing on this Praxis crank. It's the Alba crank, so it's a good crank. Nice big bottom bracket on it, and it's got an 1134 cassette on the back. So with this gear range, you can really use this as your road bike. You could use it as obviously your gravel bike. You can use it as your daily commuter. You can use it as your fitness bike. And I do see a lot of one-bike drivetrains that are, you know, not geared for everything. You got the race gearing, and then you get a lot of people that buy a one by because everybody wants a one by or wanted a one by. And next thing you know, they want a bigger chain ring in the front, and they're messing around with the way they engineered in the first place. But with this setup, it's a really good mix of gears, and of course, the GRX just shifts good. It's very solid, and it does have a clutch derailleur, so you can really shift under some very bumpy situations. I've been racing GRX on my gravel bike for a couple years now, and I have never dropped a front chainring. And I'm not a guy that has a whole lot of power. I'm a spinner, so I do switch from my big ring to my little ring in races. And in a race, the last thing you want to do is drop a chain. So, same derailleur that I've been using for years, and it works really, really well. Brakes are fantastic. The GRX brakes are great. So, all in all, a real solid build. I'm used to a Specialized power saddle. I didn't know what I was going to do when I started getting Trek and Bontrager because I really like that saddle, but the saddle that Trek has put on this bike is really comfortable. It feels good. It's a Verse saddle, VERSE. I like it. I don't have to put on a power saddle. I'm so happy about that. I didn't want to start putting Specialized bikes parts on a Trek. And I do get people that buy, different manufacturers' seats to put on their bikes. I'm going to stick with this Verve saddle. I mean, it really works good. As I put more time doing a lot of multi-surface, doing some longer rides, I'll put that saddle to the test. But so far, it feels really good. I love the flare of the bars. I think they have nailed the shape, the drop of this bar, and the flare. It just feels really, really good in my hands. There's a lot that has impressed me about this bike, and of course I'm going to do a long-term review when I finally get one of these in my hands that I can call my own, and I'm not scared to bring it out there and get it scratched and get it beat up a little bit. So at the moment, the Trek Checkpoint has really impressed me, and now the million-dollar question all my friends are asking me, because I've been a Specialized fanboy for years, and this has been the competition. When I line up against someone that has a Trek, I always know they've got a quality bike. When I fix a Trek, when a Trek's been coming into the shop and I take these bikes out of people's cars and put them on the bench and give it their pre-assessment when it comes to repair, and then after repairs are done, I load these bikes back up into people's cars. I've always said Trek is a very quality bike, and now I'm proud to sell Trek myself here at Biloxi Bicycle Works. I love offering my customers the best bang for the buck. And I'm really having a hard time at $2,500 trying to find something in the American market. I'm not in the European market. And I did see there's a lot of YouTube reviewers in Europe reviewing this bike. So this must be a very popular bike in Europe. But, we're in Biloxi, Mississippi here. I race the southern, the Mississippi Gravel Cup. So most of my riding is done, Mississippi, I get into Alabama, Tennessee. If I do get lucky enough I've got a little camper van. If I get lucky enough to go on a road trip, I throw a gravel bike in my van because I know I can just jump in pretty much and ride with any group that I find. Gravel bike has its limitations on the really, really fast road stuff, and also on the really, really mountain bike single track. But everything in between, you're pretty darn good on a gravel bike. I can pretty much go to any town and hop in on a road ride. I might not be able to hang with the A group at 25 plus miles an hour, but I can certainly hit the B or C group. Gravel is kind of taken over. I love the gravel scene. But even if I do find a place with a little mountain bike trail, I'm not gonna go huck this off a big gap or hit some really, really chunky stuff. But most decent trail rides, you can ride a drop bar gravel bike in. I prefer a mountain bike for that stuff. But if you have one bike and you want to go explore, this is the bike to do it on. And I really think Trek has done an awesome job with the Trek ALR 5. As I get to know this bike better, I will do more reviews on this bike. But for now, it really has impressed me as a very good all-around bike, and for the money, for $2,500 in August, tomorrow's gonna be August 1st, 2023. I see what bike prices have done, and I see where quality has gone. Trek has put a fantastic build on this bike for the money. So anyway, if you like what we do on Bicycle Rider YouTube, like and subscribe. That helps, helps YouTube know you're watching us. And I might be able to catch Trek's eye and get some more Trek products in here that I don't have to buy myself. That way I can review some of the higher end bikes, some of the, the helmets and the shoes and, all the Bontrager stuff I'm so curious about as I'm reading about it on Trek University. I don't just drink the Kool-Aid, but the technology seems like it's there. And of course, Trek doesn't sell things they love. So I love their motto. I'm proud to sell Trek. This is a fantastic bike, the ALR 5. Any questions, hit me up on Bicycle Rider YouTube, or you can call me at Biloxi Bicycle Works. Or if you're passing through, we're on Howard Avenue, right in the middle of downtown Biloxi. Come on in. We love bikes. We love our customers. We love people just to come visit our shop. So Bicycle Rider YouTube on the Trek. Happy to have Trek. First Trek video. We wish you a good evening, good day, and I'm ready to ride. So let's get out and ride. Thanks, guys.